solar or anything like that.
So what are the challenges in, you using this solution or manifesting this solution? One is the political challenge, obviously.
One is, yes, political challenge, and political challenge is global, not...
Yeah. I mean, politicians don't want to give up on economic development of politician of any nation.
Yes.
Because they see the short-term thing. If they cut down on their economic development, they probably won't get elected.
Yeah, because the country is always, any country for that matter, is always, the politicians of that country will always be accountable to the people of that particular country and not to us or not to any other country in the world. So that is, and the more powerful the country is, the more demanding its population will be. So if you today go to the US and tell them that, well, you should stop emitting greenhouse gas, then the people will say, to hell with it, we will. I mean, I don't care what happens in, let's say, in Bangladesh or in Suriname or in wherever. Indonesia, I will do it because I want to do it, because that's my lifestyle, that's my way of living, that's my, I mean, until unless I can afford it. I mean, obviously. So till the time they can afford it, they'll keep doing it. And that is the kind of pressure that they exert on their respective governments, so to say that, that we are not going to let it happen. Or we will not allow you to, put any restriction on our, use, our burning of GHG or our emission of GHG gases.
Okay. What else can be done? What are other challenges are there?
What else means politically?
Other challenges in some other way.
This is the biggest challenge, I would say, politically, because and then there is obviously balancing for a country like India. There's balancing between developing and switching to a different kind of development is also very crucial and critical, because the way let's say the West develops and the way Western countries have developed, we obviously cannot follow that development mode or that development path. So what we can do today at best, in fact, is to change our development processes. Now that the new development processes have never been tried. So this is completely a new thing. Nobody has tried it. Nobody knows what kind of success it will bring about. For example, we all know that burning coal and burning fossil fuels will lead to development. Or as more and more you do that, you add up to your industrial output and you grow. But then the new sort of development, or the new kind of development that we are talking about here, has never been tried. And that's true for all the countries which are developing, including India, Pakistan, whichever country, least developed countries in, like, some of them in Africa and so on. So that is, I think, domestically is a huge challenge, that how do we develop, and how do we develop in a manner that does not affect welfare and the prosperity of people, at the same time which does not emit too much of greenhouse gas.
Okay. These are the legal challenges. Any other challenges? Two challenges you have mentioned. Any other
see, one is for the developing countries, one is for the developed countries. So if you look at it and segregate it that way, then you will get one for the developing, and then there are numerous sub-challenges, under the surface, or the numerous technological challenges. There are numerous financial challenges, economic challenges. So, but then they are all linked to each other. So once one challenge is addressed, then you have to look at the other one. And no one challenge can have sort of. So, for example, where the money will come from, who will pay for it, how they will pay for it, how they will pay for this entire transition to a new kind of development, which we are talking about today, and when will the money be available, how soon the money can be available, how will technology be transferred from one country into the other, because there are now various kinds of intellectual property rights regulations. So these are all sub-challenges that we have. But then the main issue is, the main challenge is that the fact that this will affect a large number of people, more so in developing countries and least developed countries and small island countries and so on. So how we deal with it, how the world deals with it is a matter that we will have to understand.
Sure. Now, to understand where can I get statistics on climate change? Are there any websites on the internet and so on?
There are lots and lots of websites. I think there are more websites on climate change today than anything else.
IPCC.org will give me?
IPCC will have a lot of data. UNFCCC will have a lot of data.
UN?
UNFCCC.
Okay, UNFCCC.
Will have a lot of data. So
okay.
What depends on what kind of data you're looking for.
Okay. So IPCC and UNFCCC is a...
Yes, there are two main
source of data.
Source of data.
Are there any laws in regard to climate change, perhaps some convention, international law that India has ratified?
There is one Kyoto Protocol which I'm sure you know about.
Yeah. So India has ratified and is signatory to Kyoto Protocol.
Yes, they are.
Okay. And any other thing India is a party to?
There is only one legally binding mechanism today in the world on climate change.
And that is?
Climate change, that's Kyoto Protocol.
Kyoto Protocol is the only thing that's signed by how many nations?
All the nations except the US, 193 nations except the United States.
Oh, but United States is not signatory to Kyoto Protocol?
No, they're not.
So 193 nations are signatories and have ratified Kyoto Protocol?
Yes.
Okay, fine. What has government of India done in this regard?
About what?
Climate change?
Well, there's a lot of things. In fact, it depends on what, whether you're talking about internationally or nationally or locally. That really depends because that's what they're trying to do. Because they have today a national climate change mission. I think they have under that they have various renewable energy missions. They have climate change assessments. They have a scientist network called INCA. There are various kinds of things which they have done.
What should government do?
What should government do in terms of what?
In terms of mitigating climate change?
That again, there's been a lot of debate domestically also. That's what they should do and what. There's no consensus on what they.
In any case, how does it matter whether what government of India does when other governments don't do anything?
Well, yes and no, because.
How much is India's contribution to the degeneration of climate? 5%, 3%, 2%?
It's pretty huge. Collectively, if you look at it as a country, India is the fourth largest country in the world.
But how much percent is India's emission?
India and China together emit about 37% of global emissions.
But China, let's separate China. How much does China emit only?
China is the largest emitting.
And China emits 4 times as much as India?
Yeah, about 3 times.
3 times. So India emits only 9%.
Yeah, 9 to 12, but 9% is huge. India is just as one country, if it emits 9%, that's huge.
Okay.
10%, which means almost like 1 in 10.
Yeah, that's huge. And China is another 30%, almost 30%.
Yeah, it's around that.
Yeah. Fine. And United States?
United States emits, I think it's the second largest emitter in the world.
Okay.
After China.
Why is India's emission so high when its development is so low?
Because we have just too many people.
Just too many people. So people also emit carbon, is that true?
Obviously. How otherwise would you emit carbon?
Okay.
You emit through, more people you have, more demand you have, more household consumption you have, more, burning of fuel you have to meet the needs of these people. So
what should government do in regard to climate change? One is not cut forest and all that you mentioned. Anything else that government should do? Probably have a ministry for climate change? Is that...
No, I don't think. There's already a Ministry of Environment and Forest which is doing pretty alright, I would say, in terms of climate change as far as climate change is concerned. So that depends on what we domestically agree upon in terms of the policy and in terms of emissions. In terms of how much we should emit and how much we shouldn't emit and so on. Or how much we should, what kind of development pathway we choose.
Okay. What should corporates do?
Corporates, I don't know. Depends on what they, how they make their industrial processes more efficient, more and emit as much less carbon, as much less greenhouse gas as possible. Use renewable energy, install renewable energy capacities on a large scale for to meet their energy demands. So there's lots that they can also do. In fact, now most of the industries are it's mandatory for them to install a certain capacity of renewable energy either within their premise or source it from somewhere else to meet their energy demand.
Common people probably switch to public transportation, carpool, and
more towards carbon. Yeah, I mean, as much as you can save on public transportation, personal vehicles, move to public transportation. But then that also depends on whether there is public transportation available to accommodate all people. So obviously, that's a function of availability and